Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. Join Reiki Master and Quantum Healing expert Wes as he guides listeners through the depths of self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment to uncover the version of you we haven't met yet. Hello and welcome back to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad, where we are going behind the scenes of the rebirthing ceremony.
Yes, Andrea, thanks for being here. You know what? We've got some of the best listeners in the world because we are worldwide.
Yes. 12
Yes.
countries?
Yeah.
Probably more than that.
Oh, we're definitely more than that because the statistics that we get a look at are screwed up half the time. It doesn't show the statistics for being on YouTube and some other things. So we're in a lot more places than we know.
Yes. And thank you. Thank you for listening. It's really interesting to see people from Russia, India, all
Poland.
over the globe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I find it shocking that people all over the world want to hear my squeaky voice. My brother used to tell me all the time, shut the fuck up. And hey, Dennis, look at me from heaven. Look what we're doing. Yeah.
Look at me now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are we doing today?
So today we are going behind the scenes of the rebirthing ceremony.
Yeah. God, that was fucked up. That was just a fucked up time for me.
And we had Ty here to talk about it too,
Ty was here.
Was good.
And the cool thing, when Ty was here, there were so many things that I didn't realize because we don't rehearse the show. We don't have notes to follow. I allow myself to go back to that person, connect. And the hard part about that is I feel everything I felt during that time period. And we go through the story. So it was cool to have Ty here.
Yeah. Yeah, it really was. And he, if you guys have been following along, then you've heard all of those episodes with Ty. And he just really, everyone says what a great storyteller Wes is, and he is. And then to have Ty, take that brush and just kind of paint in the little other details. It was really magical.
Yeah, it was fun. I just love him. He's a wonderful man. He's a wonderful human being. The only thing, if I could change anything, is he wouldn't have been in the Army. But not everybody can be a United States Marine. Just saying. Mm-hmm. Not everybody can be a real man.
Right.
Sorry, Ty.
Sorry, Ty.
Sorry, Ty.
Sorry, Ty.
Yeah.
We kid.
Yeah. So what questions?
All right. You want to get right into it? All right. So you said that when you got to Lakota's property and you arrived, it felt like you're being greeted by family when you arrived at Lakota's. And how was that? What was that feeling really like after everything you'd been through at this point?
It was nice. Everybody, what's that show where Norm comes in to the bar?
Oh, Cheers.
Cheers. Everybody wants to have their Cheers moment. And that was like a Cheers moment. They didn't even know who I was, and they didn't know Ty. And so going up there, Lakota always has a big smile and welcomes you, and anything she has is yours. And it's such a sacred place. The energy feels different. And it's an opportunity to put your cell phone down and go back hundreds of years, because that's what it was like hundreds of years ago. There's an outhouse. You're drinking out of the stream that comes through. There's a log cabin there that's 250 years old. It's just beautiful. Yeah. So we're getting ready to go up there in October. I don't know when this airs, but in October I'll be up there doing my 4th heart dance. So if you want to participate in any of these things, Lakota does sweat lodges here in Currituck. There's events up at her house. She has readings and things here. You can participate, and you reach out and we'll make sure that happens for you.
Yeah. At VB Healer on Instagram or at Enlightenment_Unknown, also on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or you can go to Wes's website, bbhealer.com.
Yeah. Or we can go to yours. What's yours?
howgooditcanget.com. I just redid my website today, so go there. Subscribe to my Email list, and you'll get new blog posts and events that are coming up.
Nice. And you've got this badass podcast that you do?
Yes, also called How Good It Can Get, because I want to show you just how good life can get.
Yeah.
And there's been a couple of times that some shockingly good-looking person has been on the podcast with me.
Ty was on your podcast?
No, I should have Ty on my podcast
You should.
too.
You should.
Yes. So please check it out. I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now that we're done like promoting, all right, back to the questions. Okay, in this episode, Wes, I was once again struck by the parallels that are drawn between the time you spent in the Marines and this spiritual journey that you were on, specifically in this episode, digging your own grave. And when you were digging your own grave, did you think about it at the time, those parallels with the Marines, or was it something that you reflected on later?
Both. You know, when she told me that, you know, just bringing that question up just brings a lot of emotions for me. You know, that's just... When she said I had to do that, you know, it took me a while to wrap my mind around that, because that's something I wasn't going to do. I was not going to dig my fucking grave, but I had to. And I remember just talking about this. I remember how much pain I was in having to dig that grave. Not necessarily having to dig the grave itself, but just where I was at, the stuff, everything, the things crawling on me, just where I was in my life, running. I had been running and running and running from these things for, 6-7 months or whatever at this time. And I was exhausted. And I knew that if this didn't work, then that meant I was going to die soon. And, I was just trying to save my life. And I put all my faith into basically a total fucking stranger that I just met a few months before. But in the back of my mind, everybody I had met in this journey all said the same thing. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. So, talking about the epitome of blind faith, I had blind faith.
Yeah.
There was nothing else. Church won't coming.
Yeah.
So, because the church already came and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
We haven't even recorded that episode yet. Mm-hmm. Wait until I tell you about getting picked up and thrown across the room in front of the priest. That sucked.
So you would not recommend it?
I would not recommend it. No, I wouldn't recommend it. And the look on his fucking face. Yeah. I mean, it's funny to laugh at now, but I mean, literally, I got hit so hard, it launched me off my feet at a 45-degree angle up backwards and hit my head on the ceiling in front of 6 people.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Yes, I can't wait for that episode. I'm almost sorry I brought up that question, Wes. Like, it's always... I don't mean to bring up so much emotion.
Hey. Well, we're not talking about making fucking cookies on this show. I can tell you that. It's been emotional. This podcast, I haven't even shared with you how much pain it has brought to the surface for me. But to heal, we talk about the blessing or the beauty in the pain, right? The beauty in this pain is, Wes, I'm getting better. Listen, we re-recorded episode 1 because it was so painful. It was so heavy. But listen to it again, and to me, it's the same story, but it is just, I think it's better told. And I felt the difference when I did it because I'd healed so much.
Yeah, you can definitely hear the difference.
Yeah, because I never went back on any of this and discussed it. I never went back on any of this and healed it. I never went back on this and brought it and asked God to take it. I never did that.
Yeah.
I closed those fucking doors. And you know damn well when you close a door and you got shit in the back seat of your car, it don't smell better. You got to clean it before you can move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing.
Cleaning up shit, yeah.
All right. So moving on. Oh, this was fascinating to me. So you talk about getting third-degree burns on your hands.
Yeah.
And then they were healed in 72 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if our listeners can hear this, but my Abby is in the next room. I don't know what she's doing, but it sounds like the WWF in there. So if you hear some rumbling, that's my fucking German Shepherd acting crazy, which, by the way, she turns on September 17th, 1 year old.
Happy birthday, Abby.
Happy birthday. So we have the same birthday. So what was your question again?
Destiny. The third-degree burns that healed in 72 hours.
You know, those ceremonies are so freaking sacred. Yeah, I can't explain how that gets healed in 72 hours, but it did. Both, I think, at least twice, if not 3 times. But, you know, you don't want to pick up a stone that's been in a 700-degree fire for 3 to 5 hours.
You don't say.
Yeah, you might not want to do that.
Yeah.
And I didn't really pick it up, so to speak, that way, but there was holes in my gloves. And when I reached down to get it, because I was in a hurry, I wasn't being centered with myself. I wasn't moving with an open heart. I was like, get it done, get it done. I was being the Marine, the worker. So when I'm doing that kind of work outside and doing those things, we're moving quick. And this is a sacred ceremony that you're not moving fast through. It's taken me a few years to be able to learn how to slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting that they were healed in 72 hours. Like, that's powerful.
Well, I think you should come to a lodge and let me burn the shit out of you.
No.
And you get to experience that.
No, thank you. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
I will. Well, I think we should all just take his word for it. All right. So I only have one more. And this is my favorite part of the episode. So in my mind, like, it painted such a picture. So Wes is going through the rebirthing ceremony. The cow has manned up and is going to take the demon. And the cow takes the demon, but the cow's like, no, I'm not taking the demon. And it gives it to the bear. And then the bear runs with the demon and gets hit by a car. Like, Wes. Like, that's like real life cocaine bear.
Yeah. Well, Ty talks about in the Bible, I don't know the exact story, but this demon is pulled out of somebody and put in these pigs, and then the pigs run off the cliff or something, right? And it makes them go mad. And so the bear would rather die than have that demon inside of him. And it is like cocaine bear. It's funny, Pascal, I mean, this fucker stepped up and said, hey, I'll take it. And that bitch turned right around and passed it off. I fucking love him, man. But I have some Pascal in the freezer if you want to eat some.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I'm not going to eat it, but there's some there. Did I tell you the story of when Pascal got butchered?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
So even though it's a pet, she lives on a farm and the animals there, some of the animals are going to be harvested. And Pascal was being a little aggressive. A 1,500-pound bull can't become aggressive. So he was a little bit. He's poking people with his horns. And so she decided a year or so after this that he was going to be harvested. And she gave him a choice. I think the choice was, I can shoot you in the head, or you can be harvested and feed the community. And when she feeds him, she puts the feed in this, like a little trailer. You know, the trailer they haul livestock around. And she said, Wes, the entire time I've ever had this animal, he's never laid down. They don't go in there to lay down. She told him, if you want to be harvested and feed the community, lay down in there. 2 days later, she fed him. He walked in there and laid down.
Wow.
He made his choice.
Yeah.
And then when they went to the butcher, they called her and they said, what did you do to the cow? And she's like, what do you mean? And the guy says, I've been doing this for 20 plus, 20, 30 years, whatever. The animals are always scared. You know, they know what's going on. And he said, not Pascal. Pascal walked up, closed his eyes, and they dispatched the animal.
Wow.
You know, he gave himself to the community. He gave himself and allowed that to happen to feed everybody. You know, my little dog, Sugar, I had Kennedy, which was my German Shepherd. Then I had Sugar, which was a little Yorkie. Sugar was a badass. I fucking love that dog, man. She would fight anybody, anytime. And she wasn't yippy. She would just run across the room and fuck that other dog up. I loved it. But I'm like, Sugar, you got to stop, right? You will get in trouble. Well, when Kennedy decided to go home, Sugar stayed back. She stayed back to take care of me for about 4 months and to bring the other dog in. So Kennedy found Abby. Sugar trained Abby that Sugar is not to be fucked with. So she's 3/4 way blind and having a hard time, but she did not get messed with by that puppy. And but that last week we had Sugar. You know, Sugar would always sleep in my bed. And as time went by, you would hear this duck quack in the middle of the night. And that's her shit in the bed, right? So,
Nice.
yeah, it was pleasant. So, I guess near the end, one of the things she did was have an accident, but she went and pulled some of my clothes over and covered it. And I'm like, what is that smell? And finally, after a couple of days, I'm like, yeah, I moved some of the laundry is there. And I'm like, Sugar. But that last week, she'd been having accidents, and I had to have her sleep in the bathroom, which was horrible for her. She couldn't be in bed. And so I cleaned her up that last morning, and I just held her, and she was shaking. And I told her, I said, if you want to go home, come lay by my feet, and I'll make the phone call. And at that stage, she was kind of pacing around the house. She was walking into things. She was whining. So I sat her down. She walked all the way around the kitchen table, came back, laid next to my foot for about 20 seconds, looked up at me, and I said, okay, I'll make the call. And she started walking off, and she was pacing and walking into things. And it was interesting because after I made the phone call and hung up, she walked over and lay down. And she hadn't been doing that.
Yeah.
So, you know, a friend of mine came over. We took the dog to the vet, and one of the things I have the ability to do is hear them talk. And as we're going through the vet's door, she got really scared. She wanted to know if it was going to hurt, and I said, "No, honey, it's not going to hurt." So she calmed down, and the vet came in and gave her the little shot. And I watched her soul leave. I seen it leave. It was extraordinary to see. But, you know, Jesus came in for her. I felt his presence he was right outside the building. I felt it. And her little soul just shot right out. But she was a good girl, you know. She stayed back for me. You know, I know I talk about finding the beauty in the pain. But the pain is still there. I mean, I lost both my babies last year. You know, there's been a lot of things in the last year and last few years that have been very, very difficult for me. And so many beautiful things too. It's been an interesting life for sure. I mean, fuck. You can't say my ass is boring, I tell you that. You know, some of the craziest things, but, you know, Sugar was such a good girl. And, you know, one of the things she used to tell me is fuck you all the time. So she taught Abby to say fuck you. So I'll tell Abby to do something. She'll turn around and be like, fuck you. I'm like, you don't even know what that word means. So there's that, you know. It's, I went off on a tangent with Sugar, but yeah, it's been interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those are all the questions I
Those are the questions. Well, we've got all kinds of cool things still coming up. We still haven't discussed the church coming to the house. That was extraordinary and funny and sad and scary. And there's demons, there's rotten flesh, there was lots of stuff. We've got to record that soon. So that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So stand by. We're not done yet.
No. We're just getting started.
Yeah. So thank you for listening. We'll talk to you real soon.
You've been listening to Enlightenment Unknown with Wes Coons, your guide on the quest for self-discovery and the version of you we haven't met yet.